developed world. A very old population which cannot donate, but which requires a lot of blood. So we have to prepare ourselves for that. And it is going to become a challenge. So there is a failure to identify blood as a precious national resource. That is another challenge. And it affects resource allocation. There is lack of clear strategies on donor management, e.g. donor health and donor retention. That is a big challenge. We have poorly developed quality systems, both at community level, community interface, the processing, and the bedside. Then we waste a lot of blood. Those are all vivid challenges. We are wasting blood at the donation site, within the processing facilities, within our hospital distribution units, which we call banks. Indeed, they are not, they are distribution units. In theaters, we waste blood, and even at the bedside. So, those challenges should be reflected in the next Congress. So what do we expect? In addition to the dancing, the food, the tea, the coffees we shall get, we are expecting to get scientific knowledge on governance and administration mechanisms. We are expecting to see advances in achieving quality and adequate blood transfusion human resource management. We are expecting to see strategies and advancements in blood transfusion laboratory technologies. We want, or we shall see advances in donor management. We shall see advances leveraging ICT at the entire vein-to-vein chain. We are expecting to see advances in blood transfusion financing. We think we shall receive information on how people are financing their blood transfusion services, and we expect to learn a lot. We think we shall also see developments in quality system presented, and we shall also see trials of selected interventions along the entire vein-to-vein. Vein-to-vein we mean from the community up to the patient. Blood is received from a vein and it enters back into a vein, through a vein to the patient. So when you see that vein-to-vein chain, that is what we mean. So we are expecting to see a lot and to receive a lot of scientific input along the entire chain, from the patient, from the community which donates the blood up to the patient. So all that will be within our presentations, and I expect to receive that kind of information, but also deliver it well to the world. I think, ladies and gentlemen, as the director of the transfusion services has just said, let us use this opportunity to serve ourselves, to serve our country, but also to promote transfusion services in the world. Let people use this fora that we are going to give them to know that we can do something, we can provide something to the world. Let's see some of you go to be facilitators, to give facilitation to other countries. Let them use our examples and also develop themselves. With those few remarks, Honorable Minister, I'd like to sincerely thank you so much for coming to, why is this thing not? It needs to be transfused. So can I see the final slide? The one with the picture which I want to show the Honorable Minister. Put there the final slide with a thank you. Don't do these things when we come to the meeting, please. I will shame you in front of visitors. Now, we shall dance in that meeting. It will not only be science. There will be merrymaking and dancing, but in very good culture and well transfused bodies. There will be dancing. There will be all sorts of things. Please let us all participate. Honorable Minister, they will participate now that they have appointed me to be their chair for this committee. I can assure you they will come. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. I can now sit.
Professor Kajela, for the exciting remarks. Before we get the next speaker, I would like to recognize our partners, our suppliers who are here, the representatives of Abbott, STAR. Would like to thank our partners, the Red Cross, who are supporting us in mobilization of communities. We want to thank and also recognize ENABO for supporting the blood bank, especially the Guru region. Thank you very much. We want to thank the Ministry of Health, Makerere College of Health Sciences, the universities represented here, the Army, the UPDF, Uganda People's Defense Forces, that is our Army, the Uganda Police, and all those that are present here. We thank you very, very, very much for the support. Without you, we wouldn't be where we are, and we shall not go where we intend to be. I now take the opportunity to invite the Director General Health Services to give the remarks on behalf of the Permanent Secretary, and thereafter he will invite our Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Minister of State for Tourism, who I believe is joining us very soon, the Chair Scientific Committee, I want to recognize Mr. Sebagala Kigozi, the Electoral Commission, who is also a multiple donor. He has told me he has donated over 100 times. A bigger clap for him. Yeah, he stood up, he stood up. He has donated 120, 121 times. NBS and NTV are the ones who look for news. That's the man you should be interviewing, not me. The Director of Clinical Services and all colleagues from Ministry of Health, all colleagues from other MDAs, police, UPDF, the universities, the Director of Blood Transfusion, and all your dear staff, all our sponsors and suppliers, the sponsors currently and the sponsors we are looking forward to for this upcoming event. Yes, they need a bigger clap than that. We need them. You know, for this upcoming event, you need them more than anybody else here. All our blood donors, ladies and gentlemen. And the donors, not the blood donors only, but also the donors, including Enabe. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep this very brief because I know we are really going for another event, and I really want to thank the Honorable Minister for committing time to be here for this event. That shows the importance she attaches to this very, very important event. And we really appreciate her. Because I know at this time she's also supposed to be opening our joint review mission in Munyonyo at about 9 o'clock. So you can see how much importance she attaches to this meeting. And we are sorry to be rushing you through this because of the other upcoming event. I think we can reorganize our program. When the minister has left, it doesn't mean that we should stop our meeting. We should continue with the other events. I'm really excited on behalf of the PS, and the PS has actually gone ahead of us because we couldn't abandon the whole team there and all of us be here. So she has gone ahead of us, at least to start them off as we await the minister to come and open. So we are very excited to be hosting this Congress, and we really want to congratulate the team which submitted the bid and placed a very good bid that managed to win this bid to bring it here in Uganda successfully. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. And we look forward to a very, very successful event early next year. I want to thank in a special way the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, headed by Dorothy, for the great work that they are doing to make sure that we get blood to our people in all corners of this country. They even kept us going through the COVID period, when even schools were closed and getting blood was a problem. They managed to keep all the regional blood banks running and managing to get even blood amidst those constraints. We've moved a long way. About 5 years ago, we were collecting only about 250,000 units of blood. I think now 130 units of blood in a year. Still short of the WHO requirement. If we estimate our population to be 45 million, we should be collecting about 450. We are still short, but at least there is progress going on. So I really want to thank you and your team, including all the regional blood banks. And as you've heard, we are expanding. We are doing a lot. Kaja was saying we thank government. Indeed, we really need to thank government because we are expanding. Very soon, we shall have all blood banks. And that is our target, and we will get there. I want to thank all our sponsors, and as I said, we really look forward. I know you are doing a lot already, but we are really looking forward to you to support this upcoming event. And this is the beginning of mobilizing you to come on even more, even in a bigger way. But we always trust you. You have never let us down. Whenever we have such events, you are always there for us. And we really want to thank you, the sponsors, even our suppliers. We thank you so much. I want to call on the Uganda Tourism Board and the Uganda Wildlife Authority to take advantage, really, of such meetings. Not only this, but there are many meetings taking place in this country with international participants, big guests. We should market our country. This small country down here, markets more than us, and gets all the tourists who would be coming here, they end up there. You come on KLM, when you stop in the let's encourage them to join. We keep doing a lot of publicity for them. Whenever we have these big meetings, you find us marketing Uganda, telling you about the Nile. You know, they have these gorillas, and they think gorillas is everything. There are many other opportunities for people to come and see. The gorillas are marketing themselves. People who come here actually because they know about gorillas. But there are many other opportunities to see in Uganda. So I don't know if you had called Lillian. I know Lillian is very keen. She would be here and participate. We really need to. And these people who are coming are people with their money. Last week, I had an ophthalmologist. He just came to see the gorillas in the wind. So he said, he's a very senior ophthalmologist from London. And he said, I want to visit Mulago, so we took him to Mulago to visit the ophthalmology department. But this is a man, he came just to see gorillas. Yes. And then, of course, visited Mulago. But what I want to show you, these people have money. So if they come here for this conference, they can even take off time to go to Para, to go to Kabong, to go to all these parks, source of the Nile. So don't think that they don't have money because they are coming for blood. They can come for blood, but on top of that, at the end of the function, they can add in 3 days or a week to do tourism. Yeah. So on behalf of the Permanent Secretary, I can commit that as a Minister of Health, we'll work very closely with you in the organization of this meeting so that it is really very successful. And I think our presence here I see all commissioners here, when we have that very big event. But that shows our commitment to support this. So, ladies and gentlemen, but with reassurance that we will be with you in this journey. We shall support you. But also the minister, I request that we put this even before cabinet, so that cabinet knows that we have this big meeting. I'm told it's over 500 guests. Those are very big guests that all ministries need to know about and see how they take advantage of this meeting, exploit their presence here so that we can market our country better. There may be 500, they may visit, but when they go back, they also market us. So that is why we really think we should take advantage of this. So with those remarks, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite the Honorable Minister of Health, who is very well known to all of you, who is Dr. Jane Ruth Achengo Chero, and Woman Member of Parliament for Lira City. Honorable Minister, you have the floor. Please join me to welcome.
Thank you, DG. I humbly and I recognize all of you in your various capacities. The rest of you I know. I am glad to meet the donors. I mean the blood donors and the money donors. Allow me to welcome you to the launch of the preparatory meetings for organizing the 11th African Society for Blood Transfusion, which is due to take place at Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, from the 4th to the 7th of March 2024. When I read this date, I was a little bit happy. Many of you may know the reason why. Some of you don't know. Right now, government is rushing to put up a convention center at Munyonyo, which will be used in January. And then you can use it in March. Wonderful. So your timing, I think, came at the right time. We shall have something to show the over 500 participants. I appreciate the theme, Safe and Sustainable Blood Services in Africa, New Clinical Advances, ICT, Innovations and Technologies in Transfusion. I was intrigued recently when Dorothy came to present the blood transfusion policy. And we started asking her questions. And then I learned that actually in Uganda we have transfusion specialists. And I asked myself, where have they been? And what have they been doing? And why have they been quiet? And I think you know the reason why I'm asking. Because these people should be supporting the Ministry of Health to develop these policies. But they have been quiet. Why? Because they love doing their scientific things, their innovations, and you forget that policy must come first. That is why we don't have any regulatory document for blood in this country, because you have been hiding. For that reason, I think I should first charge you with neglect of duty, because it is your duty to serve Ugandans. But on the other hand, I am also excited and happy to know that you actually exist. And so I have asked the chair of the scientific committee, when he gets time, to bring all of you in a line and introduce you one by one, and then you can give an accountability. of what you have been doing and tell me how we are going to move forward. While I love the Congress, for me as a Ugandan and as a politician and as a health personnel, my first call is home. We must make home better. That should always come first for the people of Uganda. We have made progress, yes, but we still have challenges. How can we overcome those challenges? And I really hope that in this Congress, you will also have opportunity to discuss that. How can we make blood available in Karamoja adequate, safe, sustainable? How can we do the same in Kapchorwa? How can we do the same down in Kisoro? We are still having challenges. And the chair of the scientific committee clearly highlighted some of the challenges that are actually manageable, although he fell short of talking about selling blood. This gentleman, he has donated over 120 times. What do you think he feels when he hears about sale of blood? He feels terrible, really terrible. And there are some people in this room who have never even attempted to donate or even thought about donating. Yes, they are here and they know themselves. But somebody has done it 120 times. What can we do to address the issue of stopping the sale of blood? Blood is life. It is life. I know National Water says water is life. It is also life, but blood is life. If you don't have blood and you require blood, you will die. So if we can't sell life, why do we sell blood? For me, I need you to help me address some of those very challenging areas, wastage and so on, availability, accessibility, safety, you know, so that I stop answering easily questions that are easy to answer. I know many of you have seen me on the floor trying to answer questions on blood, especially when the director comes up and says she wants more money. And when she talks about more money, then I am summoned to answer why she needs more money. But she needs more money. But money is also a limited commodity. That is why I have to answer. So, Chair, bring those very nice men and women to answer those questions. And then I will be very comfortable. But we need a law. We need a law to regulate blood in this country. There was an attempt to put it in the tissue transplant bill, which will soon be signed into an act, but we saw it could not fit there. It needs its own law. And it needs to be, blood transfusion services need to be expanded countrywide in every region so that it is accessible. Now, that is your task. But my task today is to launch preparatory meetings and to have breakfast, which I forgot. But all over the world. But I was also excited to hear that our own was a Secretary General for over, did you say 8 years? 8 years. You need to be congratulated, really. One of the things that we were not taught in medical school is to sell ourselves and to tell the world. Now this one was a Secretary General. He lived alone, he did his things alone, and he stayed alone, and he's there. And it is only today that I am also getting to know. Can you imagine? But the good thing is that he's also a deputy. Did he say principal dean? Principal, deputy principal, College of Health Sciences. Those people who taught us how to keep quiet. They don't sell Mulago, they don't sell what? They don't sell health services. But when you go out of this country, you can see how people sell health services. Just talking about it, advertising, telling what you have. I think you need to change in the medical school. Whatever he's talking about, I don't understand. But what I understand is that we need to start advertising the services we have, and aggressively, so that the population get to know. Many of you sitting here, if I just talk about Mulago, you don't know what is there. And if you fall sick, your first call will be a private facility. Let me tell you, you are missing something. You are missing something. What is given to you in the private facilities is not even a half of what is in Mulago. And they just keep quiet, these people. But for us who know, you don't see us going to private facilities. Do you think we don't fall sick? We do, but we go to the right places. Can you talk Sebo? Tell your students, even if it means going on radio, talking, billboards, what, advertise yourselves. It is not that free services, by the way, there is nothing free in this world, not even this breakfast you are having. Some people paid for it, not even this room, not even when you go to a toilet. There is nothing free in this world. If you get it free, somebody paid. And it needs to be appreciated. So when you hear people saying government services are free, they are not. Government paid, but remember when you go, you may also pay something. So the hosting of the 11th African Society for Blood Transfusion Congress presents a great opportunity for Uganda by bringing together specialists from blood transfusion services, clinicians, laboratory scientists to participate in scientific write-ups, present their new work to colleagues with purposes of gaining recognition for their contribution to the science of blood transfusion. And also from the tourism perspective, you have heard. For me, I'm excited that we are going to have so many conferences back to back. I only hope that we shall be able to host them very well. I am confident that our Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, working together with the local organizing committee, the local scientific committee, various stakeholders, and the Uganda Tourism Board, will deliver a successful Congress and pledge commitment, and we pledge commitment and support from Government of Uganda for a successful conference. We are prepared and we shall be available with the grace of God. But also let me put here a small disclaimer. You know we are prone to disease outbreaks. Start telling those scientists that even if there is Ebola, Marburg, or COVID in Uganda, they must come. We are alive. Are we not alive? Yeah. Hey, who has died from Marburg? Exactly. So start telling them early. Outbreak or no outbreak, it is one of the issues that affects transfusion services. So that is why they must come, so that we can discuss and find ways of mitigating it. Allow me to appreciate the Permanent Secretary, who is the chair of the local organizing committee, the Deputy Principal, College of Health Sciences, my OB, Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, Uganda Tourism Board, and all of you for your commitment to organizing a very successful Congress. The DG said we should make a presentation in Cabinet. The challenge is when you go to Cabinet, they will think I'm looking for money. We are not looking for money. Amongst us here, we have enough money. But yes, we do. Let us show that we do. Because already, UBTS wants money. for blood transfusion services, and she has not got it, and she's not going to get it. No, I'm telling the truth. I don't want to hide. There is no money. And all the donors in this room know the challenges we are going through post-COVID. It is a big challenge. So let us try within our means. It is possible. There is nothing impossible. That is what I believe. Yes, even a parliament paper, I am ready to take. That is why I'm here. Yes, but let us also try within our means. So it is my honor and pleasure to launch the preparatory meeting for hosting the 11th African Society for Blood Transfusion Congress to be held in Uganda after many other East African countries. I can see Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania hosted. Now to be held in Uganda, and I heard Uganda, which has made a lot of progress after South Africa. I'm not going to ask that question here. I'll ask you. I thank all of you and wish you nice deliberations.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I would like, let us give a big round of applause to our Minister for the good remarks. I would like to remind you that we have breakfast. Please go and take the breakfast. I would also like to recognize some of the members that have just come, like the Secretary General Uganda Red Cross, who is present here. I would like to recognize Dr. Kakuba, in charge of Mengo Blood Collection Center. Other members are under Makerere College of Health Sciences, Mulago, and also I would like to recognize in particular Dr. Dungu. You are welcome. You already recognized Dr. Nabada and many others. Even we know you are very important. We know you are our own. We know you support us. Thank you very much for coming. Now I want to hand over to my co-MC, Mildred Tuhaise, to take on the next part. She will usher in the minister to sign the pledge board to support this Congress, and many other members, you are welcome to sign on the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Allow me, like the minister said, to save time to stand on the protocol that has currently been observed. And like the minister said, all of us here are donors. I am very blessed to be sitting amidst donors. You know, the word donor has been, skewed to mean something different, but we are all donors. Who is not a donor in here? I just want to see the hand. Someone pointed at a person who is not a donor. I want to thank as we get to prepare to sign on this commitment right here that, yes, we need to speak out. We need to make some noise about the services. I was just talking to my neighbor, and I told her I deliberately chose to give birth at Mulago Hospital. Deliberately, because I trusted the services there. And having grown up in a family that has health workers and medics. And she said, no, because you're a celeb. I said, no, because I know the services that are at Mulago. And because I know there are many people who do not know that these services exist. So I totally agree with you, Honorable, that we need to make a little bit of noise, let the Ugandans get to know. And actually, these services are cheaper than you would get them in a private health facility. Very, very cheap. I spent, I think, less than 50% than I would have spent if I had offered to go into a private health facility. Without any further ado, I know that the minister is very busy and there are quite a number of errands to pay attention to. I am going to request you, Honorable, with that high table, with all the persons that you are seated with, to come and sign on this as we get to anticipate what 2024 is going to be looking like. And I also agree with you when you talked about the need for a law to regulate blood in the country. I know of so many people who are still skeptical of donating blood, asking, but the blood is going to be sold. I know of health facilities that you have to pay some money and sell it, yet I gave it free of charge. So this is a commitment from our Ministry of a Minister who is going to sign directly under your logo. You see it right there. unless you want to be placed in a totally different organization. Honorable Dr. Jane Ruther Cheng, thank you so much for the commitment and for the truth-telling, in as much as it hurts that we don't have money. But it is okay. At least the truth has been said, but we will strive to work more. I will, of course, expect Madam Chaine as well, the UBTS under right there. I will be having you sign at a later stage as well. And we have a ministry representative from the Director of Tourism and Wildlife at the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, who will also be signing. So let me have Madam Chaine to first sign under your logo right there. I have Ministry of Tourism. Then I'll have Dr. Mwebesa. Honorable, before you run, because we need after this signing to take a picture outside, and then we can be able to. Madam Chaine, please. Have the three of you sign under those logos, and then we can have Dr. Mwebesa and the team come through to sign, yes, immediately under UTB. And I'm going to request the representative of Honorable Martin Mugara to come, the Director of Tourism and Wildlife, because this conference is very key. We've hosted a number of events, but we never get to pay attention to, I'm going to request Madam Chaine that you sign from the other side so they can take a photo. This side. Doctor? They want to take a picture, so they would probably prefer. Oh, she's left-handed, by the way, so it is you who has to cross. It is you who has. These are unique persons, eh? We don't have so many people who are left-handed. They're very unique. Okay, so let me have the Director, Tourism and Wildlife, to also come and take this up and sign on behalf of Honorable Mugara. Yes, please. Just step forward and sign. Thank you, and then I'll have the entire high table. Dr. Mwebesa, I'll have all of you come and append your signatures right there. Now you can feel free. We want to remember, it could be someone else who is signing, so we want to be able to remember this. And we cannot wait to have this event organized right here. Like I always love to remind people that blood is not manufactured anywhere. We are talking about industrialization, but government is not going to set up a factory manufacturing blood. You are the factory, and you need to be kind enough to allow to donate that blood, because yeah, you have some bit of extra that you can be able to give to another person and save. I remember that through the help of Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, my sister's life was given a bit more there. She had cancer and needed blood. So at least she was given an extension of about 2 weeks more to live, although she passed away, but at least there was a bit more time for us to live because there was available service that was given by the team right here. Okay, Dr. Mwebesa, I don't seem to have seen your signature there. Okay, and I'm going to request Honorable, as you go out, we're going to take our picture. There is a banner that will be taking a picture from outside, and I will be letting you in. And also, I know that you didn't take breakfast, so please kindly allow. So also to our suppliers, to our sponsors, I'm kindly requesting that we follow the minister. We are coming back here immediately after this picture to go on the next one. Honorable Sebagala, please, you can be able to join. The chairpersons of committees, I'm requesting that we also join the picture outside. We didn't have enough space here, that is why we chose. And the scientific and local organizing committees, please, I am requesting that we all get to join that picture outside. And after it's done, the rest of us, we can stretch out a little bit. You've taken some coffee, you need to stretch it out. And then when we return, we'll be going into our second and very last aspect of this event, and we'll let you go. I know it's midweek, you need to be getting back to work. So also, if you didn't pick coffee or you need to pick a little bit more as the picture is taken, let's have that coffee and then get back and conclude. Thank you. I want to believe that whoever is outside is able to hear me. I am kindly requesting that we all get back. Let's get back in and do our very last program so we can get to leave here a little bit earlier. Once again, I am kindly requesting whoever is outside. So if your neighbor is out and they haven't come back, please feel free to alert them that we are starting again. We have just a few more minutes to with this. Invite them from wherever they are to come and we proceed. So if you are having breakfast, I would kindly request that you pick your tea or coffee and come back in and let's have some working breakfast as we get to conclude. We need to know what the budgets for the upcoming Congress are, and then we also need to see some commitments made Since we are donors in here, like I said, we are not only talking about money, but also when we come to the budget, we'll not only be talking about donation of blood, we will need some commitments because we need to see this Congress fruitful, the first of its kind in Uganda. We need to see it come to life and in the biggest and best ways possible. Ladies and gentlemen, in distinguished capacities, I'm kindly requesting that let us get back and continue with our program. I am requesting that we all get back and continue with our program. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I want to believe, I see an empty table at the back there. I want to believe that the residents of that table are actually coming back. So we want to continue with this. I hope Commissioner Sebagala, wherever you are getting back with us, and everyone else who is inside. Well, because of time, we had to switch up our program a little bit, but we would like to hear from the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the representative of Honorable Bahinduka. I was here a little bit earlier. I want to believe that she is back or she's coming. She's actually coming back in. Because having such conferences, we just need to go beyond the discussions, the deliberations that are going to be happening in the Blood Transfusion Congress. But we also need to go deeper into what, the other benefits, the low-hanging fruits of having this. You're having lots of dignitaries, people from other countries coming into Uganda. We have a lot to sell, actually, as a country, because also for you to have quality blood, it depends on what you're eating as well, right? Am I right or wrong? Very, very right. So can we sell some of this beautiful food that we have? So as they come for the conference, they know that there is much more than coming to discuss blood in the country. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we would like to listen from the Ministry of Tourism. Is there any sort of preparation the ministry probably is looking up for what it needs to be done? Security is very key. I know it is very key for such conferences. We've seen countries that are now selling themselves out as conference destinations, all right? And they're earning big from this. It's not just about the conference. It's about the amenities. It's about the other money that is spent in the community, within the country as these representatives and as this come. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me invite the Director, Tourism and Wildlife from the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, also representing Honorable Martin Bahinduka, to speak to us about this and what it means for the country and sort of preparations that we have so far. Thank you. We welcome you, Director.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremony. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I found people taking tea. Maybe they're busy. Good morning to you all. Yes, my name is Basil Ajer. I'm the Director for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. I stand here to represent the Minister, the State Minister of Tourism, who is unable to make it. I have a speech from the Minister, which I should stick to. But before doing that, I want to thank you so much for organizing this event, the launch of African Society Blood Transfusion Congress, which we know is taking place in April. I come here from tourism to talk because of the role we play in MICE. And when we say MICE, I mean meetings, incentives, conference, and events. Don't confuse it with the biological MICE that you know. And the meeting, we're emphasizing the corporate meetings. And MICE is a very important aspect of tourism. It's bringing now lots of foreign exchange. If I'm to give you the global statistics, is that the world generated about 1.7 trillion US dollar shillings in 2018 as income which is generated from MICE, from meetings and conferences. Now, out of the 1.7 trillion US dollars, the sad news is that about only 273 came to Africa, which is about only 2.2%. And that is a small figure. And the ranking, because countries are ranked differently on your preparedness to host conferences and events. Now, in Africa, in 2018, Uganda was ranked as the 10th destination in terms of places for meetings. But again, at the same time, the minister set what is called the Convention Bureau, which that lady seated there represents. Because for you to bid for meetings, you need to have a Convention Bureau. And due to that effort, in 2019, I think now we were ranked 6th, which is good news. So I'm encouraging us here that it is our duty as corporates, as different institutions, as associations, as agencies to attract conferences and events, because when you attract high-class meetings, if you attract corporates to come to your country, they come with lots of benefits. So I stand here to thank you so much, and also to give you confidence and assurance that the tourism sector is picking up very well, is recovering well. Actually, in last year, in 2022, recovered by 58%, which is very good news. I also want to encourage all of you to get involved in tourism. Because for us, we say tourism is everybody's job. Actually, it's the best place to retire. If you look at two sectors, tourism and agriculture is the best place to retire. So it's everybody's job. And if you look at the value chain of tourism, now let me upgrade myself and become the minister. And I will read verbatim. Speech by Honorable Bahinduka Mugara Martin, the Minister of State, Wildlife and Antiquities, at the launch of 11th African Society Blood Transfusion Congress, 4th to 7th March 2023. I know there's a problem here at the month. On the 30th of March 2023. Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Permanent Secretaries and other government officials, representatives of the media, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to be here today and take this opportunity to congratulate all the staff of Ministry of Health and Uganda Blood Transfusion Services upon the success bid to host 11th African Society for Blood Transfusion Conference scheduled for 1st to 4th of March 2024. MICE tourism is a niche segment in tourism market which has abundant potential and is gaining significance worldwide due to the growth of business tourism. It has a target market of business clients traveling for various types of meetings. MICE has got a number of potential benefits which ranges from contribution to employment opportunities, increased foreign exchange earnings to the nation as delegates often brings in revenue to the host country and spend in the hospitality sector, generation of investment in tourism infrastructure, among others. Attendance of conferences draw together leading national and international professionals and practitioners in different fields. This helps in bringing together the world's leading scientists, medical practitioners, business people, and hence strengthening the national or nation's internal capabilities in each of these professional areas. Because of the above economic benefits, the international regional competition in the MICE industry has become increasingly intense. To stay ahead of competition, ensuring supply of human resources remains a key success factor. We need to build on our existing pool of local content and work hand in hand with training institutions, universities, employers in the field to bridge any gaps in our labor market. It is estimated that this convention will contribute to the GDP of Uganda to a tune of 0.6 million US dollars. We therefore need to continue working hard to ensure that Uganda becomes a conference market destination. This is an indicator that the efforts we put in place, put in place by Uganda Tourism Board to develop the Uganda Convention Bureau has begun to yield fruits. The Uganda Convention Bureau targets to attract 130 business events, which amounts to about 100 million US dollars between the year 2022 and 2025. This certainly should be the beginning of making MICE a key product for the country. In 2019, the International Congress and Conference Association had ranked Uganda 6th in Africa for hosting international association conferences. And the target was to improve Uganda's ranking to be among the top best destinations in Africa. Uganda Convention Bureau partners with different ministries, departments, and agencies, professional associations, and universities to increase business events through bidding for international conferences. The Bureau targets regional and national government and non-governmental conferences that are held periodically and rotate across the globe in order to contribute to the economic impact of Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now living in a world that is vastly more resilient, open and fast-changing than ever before. To better serve our maize industry, we need to ensure that our graduates can meet the requirements of the industry, and our maize and tourism workforce is equipped to meet the new changes. I once again thank the staff of Ministry of Health, Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, and Uganda Tourism Board upon winning the bid to host 11th African Society for Blood Transfusion conference scheduled for 1st to 4th March 2024. God bless you all, for God and my country.
A big round of applause for our minister. Right now, he's Mr. Basil Ajay. He's the Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, as is in that capacity. How beautiful it is to know that we'll have a contribution of 0.6 million US dollars. Do you want to calculate how much that is in Ugandan shillings? In just one conference, you realize how important maize is. In just one conference, you have 0.6.
Said, I'm going to donate blood to save somebody's life up to date. That's the reason I'm doing it. And I don't only do it, but I always take my whole family. They know, those people, Annette knows the team. I always make everybody go and donate. Because at one point you need it. Allow me to say one thing, that it is not need the blood anyway. Above all, I'm not going to deliver. I'm not a woman. Above all, I'm driving a very good car. It will not get an accident. But you don't know what will happen tomorrow. Even if it is not you, what about the others? How many things have you gained from others, but not necessarily from your own self? So if you can afford to do it for the sake of others, or for the sake of rescuing others, do it. Above all, you don't buy it from anywhere. And we are lucky in Uganda. We don't need foods that need to give us a lot of blood. Our foods are all almost organic. And it's bad. So I encourage members always to go and donate blood. You never know when you will need it. You never know who will need it, not only yourself, but even from your own family and so on. I want to take advantage of thanking Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, managed and headed by Dr. Chiyuna and her team. Thank you very much. You're doing a very good job. I always disturb them. We have a small gathering here. Do you think we can get 5 units? Can we, you call it pints? Can we get 10? Oh, sometimes they tell me it is not viable. It's not economic to drive and get 10 and so on. But all the same, they do respond. And that is very encouraging. I pledge to continue giving blood until the age says no. And I believe my son and other children will have replaced me at that time to continue with to make the candle burning until that time. I pray that we reach that day, 24th to 7th March this year. We pray that God gives us life to be there, and all the invited guests turn up, and all the donors and sponsors give us the money we need and in excess. I thank you in advance for accepting to give us monies, and may the good Lord bless you all. Thank you very much.
Times, and I agree with you that you might be thinking, I'll not need it, until you realize, okay, it may not be you, but your relative, or how about your child, or how about your auntie, or someone who is just very close to you who will need that blood. So that's a very good reason for you to give blood. Don't wait to lose someone, unfortunately, like Commissioner did. Don't wait for that, hardest period of time for you to be able to share blood. Back in school, what used to be the reason for us donating is because you had biscuits and soda. Especially when they came to boarding school, when it is Kau, you literally even want to give blood twice because you want to give at this corner and then bypass and go and give in the other corner. So I think we need to not really incentivize, because this has to be coming from the heart. It's speaking to Ubuntu, speaking to humanity. As we continue to have more, I hope, Commissioner, you did get time to sign here, please. Remember, just pick a marker before you leave. We would need to have your signature appended. And Mr. Basil, our minister, once again, although had been represented earlier, I think we would have your signature appended right there. We now need to know what our budget looks like. And of course, thanks to our sponsors who've made this particular event come to pass. But we are all looking at these dates. We are all looking forward to 4th, 7th, right? March 2024. We may seem like we have time, but time runs fast. Yeah, this is just, we're saying, oh, we are still in March, so we have close to a year. No, we don't have close to a year. We just have a countdown, and I want us to get to that countdown. So I'm going to request Legends Events and Hospitality to just kindly come through and present to us the budget that we are working with. And in most cases, of course, when we are talking figures, it's plus minus, right? But in this case, it's going to be plus plus. And I know this is also a bit of terminology for blood, blood types and everything. What amounts of money do we need so that as we sit here, as we prepare, as we get excited that, yes, we won this bid, what is the task ahead that we need to be dealing with? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Agre Kagonyera. I represent Legends Events and Hospitality. I'm a professional conference organizer. I'm going to take you through the budget. This is a comprehensive budget that we've put together. This involves starting today up to conference time. It's been put together from the hotels, the conferences, and all the things that we'll be doing, including some fees that we have to pay for some of the delegates. So we'll go through that, and I'll take you bit by bit. There are quite a number of slides, so maybe for you to digest it properly, after this meeting together with the Secretariat, we'll discuss how we can share it, and then you get to understand it and internalize it, because like I said, it's quite detailed, and we might not have the luxury of time to spend all on it. So the first slide talks about what we propose and what we think we'll be receiving from the registration fees. So there's a number of delegates who are going to be coming in. In total, we are looking at 400 delegates. We talked of 500, but if these are the paying delegates, they are categorized in different categories, and they each have different fees they pay, and we expect to have an income in the excess of 600 million. We are here to talk to you, our esteemed donors and sponsors, to help us and contribute generously, and we expect to raise money from the different categories of sponsorships, starting with platinum, which we hope we can have a platinum sponsor who would give us about a minimum of $25,000, the gold sponsor 20, right down to the social events, where we have a number of people who we expect to contribute to that. Over and above that, we have about 25 stands, and these stands will also be contributing to the income that will help run during the period. Now, we talked about starting this conference as early as today. What happens is that now all conferences have an app, and this app is your one-stop center where you go and get all the information regarding the conference. You can book your hotel from there. It's, for lack of a better word, that is our channel of communicating to the delegates and to communicating to the rest of the world. So once you are a registered participant, we give you access to the app, and that helps you in organizing your travel and organizing your stay. It keeps you updated on the program, on the conferences, and where to be at what time. Any updates that we are sending you will be through that app. So that is going to be developed together with the website, and there's a fee that is attached to that. Now, when we get into the conference itself, we'll have airport transfers and drop-offs for the VIPs, and these days come with lead cars, and then we'll have hostesses at the airport who will facilitate their arrival
and also facilitate their departure. We'll have use of the foreign, of the VIP lounge, and we'll have a setup at the airport for the duration that the conference is here. We have attached an amount to most of these, to all the items, because, you know, ordinarily some of these will be provided, but in the unlikely event that they are not, then we have attached an amount so that we are able to cater for, you know, for all eventualities. So we'll have a welcome reception, and this is really, I'm talking about event-related costs for having a reception for the 500 delegates. This includes and market the conference. So the pre-Congress preparations will involve the local organizing committee as well as the scientific committee. The scientific committee is very technical. It has a team of officers who are involved, and the fees that meet their expenses for meeting on a regular basis. And then the local organizing committee is the one that is charged with organizing the day-to-day and but you know the months will fly very fast, and we need to make some commitments, you know, as early as today. So once we have a peg in the ground, then there's no turning back. Thank you for your time, and I'll take questions if there are any.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kagonyera. A bigger round of applause for him. This is the point where, when you're in church, we are here making some calculations in dollars, in shillings, in pounds, in every amount of money. This is where your pastor says, it is possible. I didn't hear anyone say it is possible. We say it is possible. Yeah, these are not amounts to scare us, saying so many zeros and so many commas. You know, when you're counting money, you start by counting how many commas are in that figure that has been mentioned. So let's not count the commas, but like Mr. Kagonyera has said, are there any questions? Anyone who probably is raising? If I could have one of the teams to just help me pass on the microphone, feel free to ask a question about those amounts that have come through and what the expectations should be. I was just whispering to my neighbor, such an event about 2012 took about the same amount, so it is slightly higher, you know, putting into consideration issues of inflation, and every day this time is Russia-Ukraine war also. We give it as an issue. Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kagonyera.
But not about hosting. This Dr. Dungu has something.
Thank you, events organizer. My name is Dungu. You know, tourism is part of the conference. Are there provisions for the attendees?
To answer some of these issues. Very good, brilliant questions. Actually, yes, we should be thinking. That was a brilliant question.
Agri is my name. There was one item on promotion, and we are targeting the European Regional Congress in Sweden. I think it's around June this year. That's one, it's a regional congress, but there is an African
Before Mr. Kagonyera gets to respond to this, and then we will have our closing remarks. Okay, I think Mr. Kagonyera, it's good for you to respond to.
Thank you very much. Maybe I'll start with my namesake and about tourism. Melon here would expand more of that, but I know that when we plan these congresses, we always leave a room, and we also advise the delegates coming that these are the attractions we have in this country. We don't want people to fly halfway across Africa and go without seeing our gorillas, go without seeing our chimpanzees in Gamba, go without seeing our beautiful falls. You know, we have all the parks that are in less than 3 hours away from here. And we feel Uganda has a lot to offer, and we make sure that we provide them a very attractive package, leaflets. That is, I talked about the app. So some of those attractions and things to see are on that app, and people make their own private bookings. And where these numbers multiply is because some people then decide to come with their spouses, with their families. And what then happens that we do a spouses program where we said, during the conference, as much as you have nothing to do with blood transfusion, there are the following that you can do. There is a City of Kampala tour. There is, these places you can go to, so that you find that you have a side program that facilitates and helps those who are coming to, attract and bring more numbers. The more people we have, the merrier. Yeah. So sometimes when we know in hand, if the numbers are not that many, sometimes those get invited to the last dinner. If they are not, then we have a parallel program where we do something to keep them entertained. So that as much as we are planning for this, we plan for a parallel one for those attending, and I'm sure those who went to Senegal and all these other international conferences you have attended, one of the things you see, you want to make sure that during your time, it's well spent. You kill as much as this is a packed program, there is the extra time. Either you come 2 days before, or you stay longer and get to enjoy our beautiful country. The other one was fundraising. Yes, both on the international delegates, but also locally. Charity begins at home. I know, some will feel that there's been, donor fatigue, but let's not tire, because this is a very worthy cause. So the fundraising, and you say that will we get some money to spend remaining over? Certainly, if there is money over and above the budget, it will be passed to the appropriate channels to make sure that it does something related in this field.
This question is bigger than what you have answered. He wants to see a situation during the meeting where we
in other different forums. It is amazing how people. So testimonies are one of the big things that we need to. So we have to get compelling testimonies, some that we can play. We don't have to, to bring most of those people from where they are. But when you have compelling testimonies, telling a story of, somebody who has been committed to this cause in the excess of 20 years, somebody who is turning this into a generational donation of his now, I'm sure his son's son will also carry on. So those are the kind of stories we never get to hear. They are very touching, they are very personal, but also they are very deliberate. He made a deliberate and conscious decision to say, I'll donate blood. He has been doing it for the last 20 years. Story is never told, even if it's in our flyers and leaflets. And we give people channels and ways of how they can help. But also we need to be specific that, rather than say, Saba government at Yambi, let's say that we want help in this area. And there are these low-lying fruits which we can reach for, where we say that, as the international community, as our guests, there are these areas we need to look at. So us as the organizing committee, it's time for us to do our homework and say what would be easy and what do the regulations allow us to do, so that we work within the regulations that are in place. The last is one. Yes, yes. Like I said, there has been a flip from the time the submission was made. But we hear you, and luckily you are part of the organizing team, so we'll go back and look at it. I think what was important is to make sure that people are not confined in one place for a week, but the proximity is, and bearing in mind the logistics, definitely it does make sense to. and there is golf. Those are some of the other extra, the extra things that, people who have like spouses who love golf, who are ardent golfers, when they look at that, they obviously say, I'll come and spend a golfing weekend in Kampala. Thank you.
Okay, a big round of applause to Agri. It's not easy to sit down and think what works, what does not work, what percentages do we put, what amounts do we put to it. That's been a lot of work put in there. Thank you so much, Agri and team. And we know that this 5 billion shillings will definitely be gotten. Now we need to, of course, start. Like you said, charity begins at home. But as we do, I want to recognize the presence of JCRC, which is amidst us. Representative, the director is here, yes. But also from police, security is key. I said, security is very key. Commissioner Dennis, thank you so much. If you could just wave to us. If the country is not secure, we may start on talking about extensions. God forbid. It will not come to pass. I'd like to now engage our corporate sponsors. Would like to listen. Just like the discussion was, conference, can we have a time where we get to say, now let people contribute? This is our time now. I am not going to call out names to say, give us 10 million, give us this amount of money. But I just want to, our corporate sponsors, some of them and partners to come and speak to us. I'd like to start with Abbott. Annie is here representing to just come and speak to us in just a bit. And what the conference looks like in your view, and after looking at that money, what is God saying in your heart? Please come through. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning once again. Respects to all the dignitaries, all protocol observed. Just a bit of introduction for people who don't know me well. My name is Ani. I'm the CEO for Star and Philips Pharmaceutical. And we have been here in the country for the last 35 years. And I'm very happy and delighted that the whole transfusion, in Nakasero, the journey we traveled close to now 15 years in developing what we see today is Uganda Blood Transfusion Service. So we have been there in thick and thins with UBTS, and I'm also happy that the first event we organized, the stone laying ceremony of this event in Ministry of Health, I was delighted to be a part of that. So the journey continues from there. So the key responsibility, I think, what we see and foresee after the budget presentation for me today from here is not to just dig my pocket, but also dig the pocket who comes to me and take the support to make this event a great success. Why I'm saying this is that we have seen several deliberations today morning. I think the way I see from a corporate and commercial side is this is a matter of pride for me to be a part of this great event which we got the privilege to host in Uganda. I also had chance to review some of the events which took place in Arusha, Senegal and Rwanda. So that experience comes with a lot of bottlenecks which I see, and that's where I say that this is a matter of pride for each of us sitting in this room and beyond. So all the delegates who leaves from our country is an ambassador in their respective country that would add to further donations, further support in country. So it means a lot that we all have to join hands together to ensure that this event becomes a great success for all the participants. Having said that, we talked about March 2024. I was just making some mathematical calculations. We have 347 days, and leave aside all the sleeping hours and other miscellaneous work what we do. We are just left with 173 days for this mega event, and which is less than 6 months. So you can understand the urgency of all of us coming together to mark this event as a great success. I have some few quotes here to share that remember that the happiest people are not those getting more, but those who give. Yeah? And the most importantly, that alone we cannot do Alone we can do only little. Together we can do so much. So that inspiration is there with us as a corporate partner in the country, and I'm foreseeing already a couple of platinum sponsors for this event. So the amount what we're talking about, I know it's a task which everyone has to own, but rest be assured that from today, my full support is there with UBTS and the organizing committee, both in terms of technical support, whatever is needed from the expertise we got through being a represented partner of Abbott in Uganda for last so many years. Thank you so much for inviting me, Dr. Dorothy and the team. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. The support has already been committed and we will just be waiting. Roche Diagnostics is online. I'm kindly requesting our technical team just to know, are we, you could just give me a thumbs up if we're ready to have Roche speak to us for about a minute or so. I'll be coming back to you. But let's have a word from, or is Roche ready? Do we have the team ready to? Okay, let's get to listening to him. I could give him a minute or two. Please go ahead. James, are you able to hear us? James, I think we can't hear you. Kindly unmute if you're mute. Okay. Yeah, we're still connecting to audio. James, sorry, we are still sorting out the audio issues. We'll be getting back to you in about a minute or two while we have the technical issues dealt with. We're still connecting to the audio. Let's listen in to the medical laboratory technicians, UMLTA. What is the Holy Spirit saying in your mind? You could say 50% of the budget is taken care of as is. All right.
Thank you so much, Mildred. Protocol observed. UMLTA stands in full Uganda Medical Laboratory Technology Association. But most oftentimes, it's mismentioned. Sometimes they call Medical Laboratory Attendants Association. Sometimes Medical Laboratory Assistants. But to bring to our attention, the lab has transitioned from the previous laboratory, sector that we knew, to a high skilled and specialized fraternity. In the Uganda Medical Laboratory Technology Association, we have medical laboratory technologists up to now medical laboratory specialists. A number of them participating in a range of sectors, teaching, clinical setups, and many others. So with that, I come in as the president, and actually I'm the president of the Uganda Medical Laboratory Technology Association. And I'm very happy, and I must appreciate my colleagues, the organizers of this breakfast, for having invited us, and to our executive director, Uganda Blood Transfusions. Director, you're very blessed to have a strong team in the organization, not only in terms of technical, but also leadership. We were elected last year, and in the leadership of the association, UBTS took 40% of the leadership. And I want to ask the colleagues who are part of this association to stand up. If you're a leader in this association and you work with UBTS, please rise up. Let's clap for them. Mr. Mbera Gad is my vice, is the vice president, and I want to thank you for that. Now, Uganda Blood Transfusion Association is very strong and a strong advocate for high professional standards in lab practice in the country and beyond. And I've come here to pledge the full participation of the laboratory scientists. As an association, we hold annual scientific events every year. And that happens in November every year. And through this association, I pledge to greatly market this upcoming conference. We have high-tech scientists who will be able to present quality papers. And I want to pledge, Chair, with your requests, I am going to air this out to them, and we will be in full participation. And so this is my request. Just like we participated in the recently concluded Africa Cancer Conference, where it was mainly focusing on test and treat initiative, UMLTA was among the top organizers of this event. And we participated greatly, and it was a colorful event. First of its kind in Uganda, and it's going to be subsequently held every year, 1st to 2nd Feb, and we fully participate in that. So I want to really pledge our participation, but also encourage, Chair, through you, that there's a lot of goodwill from a number of partners, from a number of stakeholders. As an association, we've often experienced a lot of support from exhibitors. We have a couple of equipment suppliers for medical aspects and many other partners. Let's open up this to have an opportunity of a number of stakeholders to come on board to support this. You're talking of fundraising. This will bring in a lot of money towards this. So with this, I want to thank you. My name is Alibu Patrick Dennis. I am a lab technologist. I work with Uganda Blood Transfusions. And this is to our laboratory professionals, my fellow lab professionals. We must appreciate Ministry of Health for the great effort and consideration of seeing that the structures that we will henceforth have utilized has greatly embraced recruitment of graduates, and those will be lab technologists. Let's give a round of applause for Ministry of Health. And this is all in bid to scale up the quality of lab services. And I can assure you, you will see great papers presented. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, UMLTA. We will not misrepresent you again, once again. Let's get James. James, are you able to hear us? We would like you to speak to us. Are we good to go?
I think it's better than how it was before. So if you can hear me, let me know.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, so as the Minister of Health and all guests in the room, good morning. It's unfortunate that I couldn't make it physically, but I could have loved to be there. Can you still hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. Go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you were, James. Go ahead. You are.
Okay. Thank you. So what I can say is that as such, we work with our customers and the communities out there to deliver the confidence in transfusion safety from the time the blood is donated all the way to the time the patient receives the blood. So the area to do with the blood transfusion is quite key. Currently we are working with the Uganda Blood Bank, and we are happy to be invited into committee into this inaugural meeting for the planning for the 2024 AfSBT in East Africa in Uganda. And as such, I'm just trying to be very brief. I'm here to reassure the Ministry of Health, the people I'm working with the Uganda Blood Bank, that as such, we're going to work with you through this journey, not just as key sponsors, but in terms of even planning and where our support is required along for us to achieve to have a successful event in 2024. We worked together in the previous AfSBT meeting that was in Senegal, and was a key sponsor for the event. But looking forward to the working with the time that we have to plan, so we are able to do a lot as a company towards this journey. I wouldn't go into too much in terms of maybe saying how much, because one, I was struggling to get
All right, thank you so much. Maybe just in a nutshell, we have about 5 billion or so gems, but I know there will be more communication coming through, and then we'll also be able to get just how much that will be. Thank you so much for the commitment. We can't wait. All right, thank you. Thank you very much, James. Like Annie said, we may think we have all that time, but we have just a few days, less by about 6 months for us to be able to put up this and make it as beautiful. The event can't be in the Pearl of Africa and fail to look like a pearl. I am just thinking out loud. So we need to do much more. I'd like to hear from biomedics what your discussion would be. So kindly requesting to get a representative from biomedics to speak to us about the event. We have just a few more days to go. Do we have any in the room? Yes, right here. You're not clapping when we're talking about money.
Thank you very much. For me, it is, I'm excited, especially that this is coming to our country, and we are in support. We are still consulting with our manufacturers, IMUC. I will come back to you. I've discussed with Susan about how we should carry this one on. We'll come big. I'm not going to say how much today. We are going to work. We could even beyond platinum. So we are with you, and we support each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, biomedics. Beyond platinum, you know what that means, eh? We will work beyond platinum. That is the promise that we do have. Red Cross, I know this is very key to your work, to your discussion, so kindly requesting to hear from a representative of Red Cross. Oh, the Secretary General is here, by the way. I thought that the Secretary General wanted to delegate another person, but could also promise us beyond, what is above platinum? Like, oh, whichever it is.
Thank you very much. Kwesiga Robert is my name. I am the Secretary General of the Uganda Red Cross, and happy to be associated with this very important forum. But as all of you know, we are like permanent partners with UBTS. We are like twins all through on how we work together to make sure there is sufficient blood in the country for those that need it. And my point of departure would be from that as life partners or Siamese twins, we are committed to making sure that this becomes a success. Now, in terms of how much we bring on the table, as always, we never fail to look for money. And through our network, so please, I'm not going to talk of platinum or what, but I can only say that as Red Cross, this is something that is at the heart of what we do. This is a commitment where we have a partnership which must grow strong and make sure that it is a success. And I can assure you we'll make our contribution, and in due course, we'll see how we can also be able to raise funds to support this cause. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Great commitments, by the way, because for this event to be a success, the money is needed definitely, but a lot more is needed than just the money. We could have the money on table and someone just says, I'm giving you 10 billion shillings. But if there is no preparation, if there is no emphasis on spreading out the word and the organization, we all as well need that. Plus your prayers, by the way. Uganda is a Christian nation. You can tell that from our motto and from our, our anthem. If you are doubting, it is definitely a Christian nation. I'd like to hear from Enable. You can choose to tell us how much, but you can choose to speak to us about the importance of this conference, which is going to happen, the very first of its kind. Just come and say hello to us. You've been quiet for a bit, and yet you've been corporate partners with us. So let's get to listening from Enable. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.
Been ambushed, but it's okay. So, is there any other health development partners or implementing partners in this room? Raise your hand. Deafening silence. Okay, so I am personally very much committed to blood donation. I'm a blood donor. When I started working for Enable, brought my colleague to blood bank. I organized a small blood drive during the lockdown in Muyenga. But as an implementing partner, we are also trying to support. We work with the blood banks of Arua and Gulu. So in every forum with my colleagues, I say, who is supporting mothers and child health? Yeah, everyone up. And I never understand, how can you save mothers and children without supporting the blood bank? Honestly, it really defeats me completely. So, as I said, I am an employee of Enable, so I cannot commit. I mean, we are working with the blood bank, supporting blood drives. So, but what I can really commit is that I'll be your link with the other IPs and HDPs and health development partners and try to really sound the bell. I really don't understand. Last week, I was at a meeting to present the new project, Uganda Health Activity, multi-million USAID fund, and they said, we are going to support blood transfusion services. And I said, yes, how? How are we? Yeah, we'll buy fridges. And I said, okay, yes, nice. But what about supporting blood drives? No. And I said, okay, you have empty fridges. Thank you very much for your help. So anyway, I'm really committing to try to sound the drum with the other IPs and the HDPs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nebo. I love that contrast right there. Yes, you'll get the money, buy the fridges. What will be in the fridges? Water or what? Ice. Eh? You have ice in the water right there. Well, we need to bring this to a close. I don't want to deprive anyone who wants to commit to this. I could be having some billionaires. We are all donors here, blood donors and money donors. So if there is anyone who would, I'm seeing people writing notes. Eh? Are you writing like a check? People who are on the table trying to write out something. You could be writing a check, or they could just be pulling out a blank check slip and saying, put whatever amount. So ladies and gentlemen, as we get to close this, but of course you know the uphill task that we have. It's just a few days to go. 2024 may look too far, but it's been broken. Annie broke this down for us, and we just have days. Put that, we have Easter holidays coming, so those are 4 days already off. We will have Eid coming, Eid al-Fitr, it is coming, 5 days off already. We count all the public holidays that are remaining, those we have off. Count all the weekends that may not be as productive as the other weekdays, so you see that we do not have a lot of time. We need to be, Christmas holiday is coming, you know, 26th is coming, there is a lot. So we need to work on our toes, work on our feet to ensure that this comes to pass. But as we get to close, allow me invite from the scientific committee, the chairperson, Professor Kajai, is he still here? Well, if Prof has left, I will request Dr. Banje to come and speak to us and close this off officially. And we get to know what next. Are we going to join our WhatsApp group? Are we going to start receiving calls? Are we going to have a mailing list? How are we going to be able to proceed with this? I would request to have a representative from the scientific committee. All right, let's give him a round of applause. Who is coming? Director is already calling out. The co-chair should come and close, yes. The co-chair of the scientific committee. Have you also been hijacked? This morning has been for hijacking people, right?
Well, I was hijacked. Agre Dabanji is my name. I co-chair the local scientific committee of this upcoming Congress with Professor Isaac Kaja. There is also an international scientific committee for the African Society for Blood Transfusion. So we constitute the local scientific committee. Now, I was hijacked. All protocol observed. The director, Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, and our partners, our sponsors, our donors, blood donors and money donors, friends of transfusion services, invited guests, staff of UBTS and the Ministry of Health, ladies and gentlemen. On this occasion of the launch of the preparatory meeting for the upcoming 11th Congress of the African Society for Blood Transfusion, I want to thank you for making the time. The commitment, the pledges to this cause. We thank you for your commitment. We thank you for coming together to run this journey. And I want to, well, close this meeting. Everything is really lined up as we have really deliberated. The committees will continue to prepare behind the doors, the financial committees, the scientific committees. We ask you for your prayers, your commitment, and when we call upon you through the different platforms and fora, please come for the meetings. The invitations on the website that will be set up, you'll be following through. Please respond, and we shall call this a success. I thank you all for God and my country.
Thank you, Dr. Dabanji, and to all of us who attended to heed to the call. Thank you so much for coming through. All our donors, blood donors and money donors and time donors, thank you so much for making time to come through. But I think one takeaway is that we don't have time. That's just it. That is the key takeaway. We don't have time. It is not time to relax. The ball has been set rolling, and we need to put hands on the deck to make sure that this is a success. Like I said, we can have an event in the Pearl of Africa, and the event itself does not look like a pearl. So we need to do quite a little bit more, the fundraisings. I also pledge to be a conduit to the media, because there is a lot of work that the media needs to do in drumming up this support. I am pretty excited already about just how much this conference, one conference alone, is going to be able to contribute to the GDP, and that alone should be a connection point for us to harness the organization and ensure that this comes to pass. So since we have been officially flagged off by Dr. Dabanji, thank you so much for coming through. Remain Mildred to high say. We can exchange pleasantries and depart at will. Still have a bit of tea, so please indulge. We paid for the tea, UBTS, and the organizers paid for the tea. Please, let's ensure that we finish it up. God bless you, and Johnny Mercies back home.